go. Why is this not pulling? What is stuck? What are we stuck on? Oh. Okay, that goes here, that goes here. Can you tell me this wasn't long enough for this? It was. Shit. All right. Okay.
Hey,
Hi.
I got a fun thing for Christmas.
What's that? What is it like a? What are you lighting?
Candle, but it's electric,
Oh. Oh, sweet.
right? It recharges.
Nice.
Fake flame.
Hey,
Hi, Jenny.
how are you?
I'm good.
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 It's just going to be the three of us tonight. Evie's got some stuff going on, but she said, love you and have a great time.
Aw.
And we're going to have so much fun.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Now that my characters are cooperating.
Oh, I love it when that happens. Yeah, I'm
Yes.
actually. I've been in the writing zone this week, which is like, where has that been for the last 2 months?
I'm on a 5-month tear. Like, it's ridiculous. I'm already 20,000 words into writing book 6 in the main
Oh my
series.
goodness.
Wow.
I am not doing any writing right now because I took on a huge proofreading project of over 400,000 words and I'm launching Apothecary of Curiosities. So, like, the writing will happen eventually.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. I started my short story for the Friday Night Writes anthology, and I've been doing like a couple hours every night, just adding to it. And I wanted to add a little bit, before we started, and that little bit is turning into da 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 da, and all of a sudden it's like 7:55. I'm like, save,
Yeah.
save, copy, save.
Yep.
And I
I
looked at the
finally
clock, I
got
was like, whoa.
Lilith and Cohen to have a conversation that didn't involve violence and cuss words.
Oh, what kind of conversation is that?
Now it's just, they won't stop talking. I'm like, oh my God. Okay, cool. We're gonna have to
Fair.
pick this up later. I'm still trying to think of what I want to do for the anthology. Decided on something yet.
Oh, yeah, don't worry, we have plenty of time. I just want to finish this because I have to finish my actual book that I wanted to have out this year. I gave myself a deadline of March, March 15th, I think it was. So,
The Ides of March.
yes, that's right.
That'll be a good story then.
Yes, I told you I have a block of time lined up. So I gotta finish this, and so I can finish that. You know how it is.
So far, we have 2 complete submissions. We've got one that's about to go through editing. I know we've got another one that's with an editor right now, so I'm really excited about this anthology. It's coming out in July of this year, for those who don't know. It's called See Me As I Am, and the proceeds will benefit NAMI, which is an amazing organization for mental health in the United States. So we're really excited, and I'm glad Jenny's going to be participating with us. It's going to be awesome. And it's not all spicy reads. It's lots of different reads. So
Yes, mine is implied spice, but not actual spice. And I'm sure after I'm finished with it this weekend, it will also be sent off to my editor.
mine is not spicy, just spooky
Yes.
and sad.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I'm still trying to settle on where I want to go with it.
Yeah.
And I have to write the one for Sinful too, so
Yeah, oh, yeah. That one I have to kind of put on the back burner. I mean, I don't know what the deadline is. They haven't said anything.
They're going to do a
Um,
post shortly, but it's earlier than usual, obviously, because they moved the convention itself up. But for that one, because it's fairy tale retelling inspired, I'm doing the Tooth Fairy.
Yeah.
I know what I'm going to do. It's going to be a Luminita story, but it's going to be kind of a retelling spin on Red Riding Hood.
Nice. Hey,
Oh,
Avon, we're just talking about your event.
I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. I mean, I have like five different little I had one idea and then Sam gave me another idea and or two ideas. I don't know what I'm gonna do with mine.
Mine's going to
No,
be weird and trippy and spicy in
my
Victorian England, and she's going to be Red Riding Hood and the wolf.
nice.
Yay.
My first idea, which I kind of squashed, was it's like a take on Pinocchio where something else grows when he lies. But then there's the whole he's a boy and we don't want to do that to boys. So
Little boys grow up into men.
that's true. Boys to men, ABC and BBD. So that
Anyway, we're going to get this started because we are here to interview Jenny tonight. So I just want to say thank you and welcome to Friday Night Rights. And it does seem like this might possibly be our last live on this platform based on some of the things that we were hearing about today with the Supreme Court stuff. But we're keeping an eye on that. If that does happen, we'll be moving over to the camera place for our next live. So just kind of a heads up at the beginning of the show today. Please share this live with your friends, followers, so we can get some more eyes on Jenny. And we're going to take a minute to introduce ourselves.
yes. And before I do that, I found that whole screen video thing that you showed me. That
Mm-hmm.
might be a fallback plan for
StreamYard is great.
like the screen video grab. I might do that if we have to go over to the camera. Just
Mm-hmm.
here I'll just plug in my phone, shoot the screen, and we'll capture the video.
Yep, we'll
But
see how it goes. Otherwise, we're going to look into some streaming platforms as well.
yes.
So,
Anywho, yes, I am Brian Scala. I do sports, spice, and second chances. My books have been increasingly spicy. The one that I'm working on is going to be my fourth novel, which is not as spicy as Core Memories, but it's all good. But we have, let's see what we have. This one that's part of Core Memories. This is my holiday story, which is no longer. It's after the holidays, but you can still get it if you want to. Here is the aforementioned Core Memories. Blah, 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 blah. I spicy friends with benefits, sweet glass of love, side of trauma. I forgot my pitch. Being made, rise and fall, rock star, redemption story. I'm going to tell you something that I have not said on these videos. Yes, we will still be around, but we will miss everybody. But you know where we are. We'll talk about that later. Being Made is a good book, ladies and gentlemen. I don't give it the love it deserves because it's the baby book, but it's a good read or listen, especially via Paige Reisenfeld. This one is also on Audible and is also available for every other way. It's in my award-winning novel, Baseball, Broken Dreams, Found Family, Love to Fix It All, and it's a smidge spicy with a little triangle romance. Those are my books.
all right, I guess that makes it my turn. So Evie's not here tonight, so she doesn't have to go after me. So I'm going to go ahead and pitch hers real quick.
I'm a dick.
Like Van Helsing meets Supernatural as an angsty, slow-burn baby. Leona is thick thighs who ends lives, and then Donovan's a dick for Abyssal. That's her whole spiel. Hi, I'm Samantha Moran. I'm an author of horror, thriller, and fantasy, and I have a lot of stuff. So just a really, really fast rundown. Witches, Demons, Hellhounds, Deal Gone Wrong, and 24 Hours to Save Her Soul, a two-time award-winning novella. The sequel, Schizophrenia versus Demonic Possession. This one's like the TV show The Ghost Whisperer. If you don't want to be scared, this one's for you. Love, loss, and life after someone is gone. This is an award-winning urban fantasy and medical thriller about a woman who's trying to save her mom and pay for her mistakes her ancestors made with the Norse deity. This one is spooky, spicy Alice in Wonderland reimagining. Please check your triggers. Your safety is more important than my sales. It is dark. And this one comes out at the end of March. I got my proof copy today. This is a Hot Cherry of Curiosities, and it is available for pre-order right now, pretty much on all platforms. Cozy horror short story collection about the Grim Reaper. So if you like dark whimsy, it's right up your alley. And then we're going to have Jenny introduce herself in her books now.
Sure. So I have a main series, which is Supernatural Forensic Thrillers, that starts with Blood Lily, which is an award-winning novel. It was really great. First place in the Chanticleer International Book Awards.
Nice.
Book 2, Rose of Jericho, last year was a finalist in the same category, which is really cool. The Lotus Tree, Book 3, is currently in the running for that award and just made the short list. Yay! And then you have Ghost Orchid, which is Book 4 that just came out last year. Book 5 is coming out August 1st. That's Wormwood. And it will first be available in print at Sinful Signings. So that'll be my release party. And then my new babies, which are tied in, they're in the same world, but they're kind of like prequels. So those are modern day supernatural forensic thrillers. This novella series is supernatural historical fiction with a lot of research involved. So the first one is Thraga and the Savage, Thraga Beats. It's the story of Luminita and Aaron. And then the one coming out January 25th is the sequel to that, which is Dracul, where you get to meet Vlad Dracul. He was one of the best villains I've ever written.
Why, thank you, Ava.
And if you're curious what he looks like, this is my character art I drew for him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, the worst villains make the best characters, I swear to God. I absolutely love one that has no moral compass whatsoever and will just end you because you just looked at them the wrong way. That is my best villain ever. On that subject.
Every time he opens his mouth, it's nothing but poisonous venom.
Excellent. I love it. Blood Lily is next on my TBR after I finish the 5 that I'm currently reading. Don't ask me why that happened. But I had to show Jenny this because it says Irot's favorite pet. And she knows what that means. Anyway, moving on. So we're really, really excited to have you on Friday Night Writes Tonight. And of course, you have amazing books. So if you are in this live and you are not following Jenny, please do that right now. And again, let's go ahead and spam her with some love here in the likes and stuff and share it with your friends because we want to get as many eyes on her as we possibly can. And here on Friday Night Writes, we also do a rehoming every week. So let's talk a little bit about what that looks like today.
So what I have is the 2 novellas. So you'll actually get this early, which is great because it doesn't come out until January 25th. But you get the 2 novellas. And then I am also doing the same set, but ebook. So we'll have 2 winners. And because, I'm awesome, they will include character art. I got to find the other one. There it is. Okay. The main characters in these 2 novellas. So I already showed you Vlad, but then there's Luminita, who's also a villain in the main series, and Aaron, who is also a villain in the main series. So those are the 3 main characters of those novellas. So you'll get the character art too.
That's super exciting. And now is this U.S. only or international?
U.S. only because shipping is horrible.
Yeah. I have to ask Sarah and Scribner or Tanya Lynn or somebody if they're still on strike in Canada.
Yeah.
Probably. I don't know. I haven't seen anything about it in a minute because we've been watching a lot of other stuff here that's going on in the U.S. right now.
A lot
of other bullshit, but anyway.
Not enough eyeballs to watch all of the things, unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right. So Brian is going to go ahead and do the spinning wheel of awesome colors tonight, and we are going to give you multiple opportunities to enter into this rehoming here. We're going to reward you for sticking around, and the special emoji for the evening is fire. So if you want to be into this rehoming opportunity, because we can't say the stinking word on here, drop fire in the emojis. Hey, Richard says Canadian Post is back. Good. Nice. Awesome sauce. So go ahead and drop fire in the emojis if you want to be entered in this, and we will do that again multiple times through the live to reward you for sticking around.
And yes, Jen Saviano is correct. She did claim Aaron. That is her book husband. No one else is allowed to claim it.
Not a boyfriend, a husband, like forever.
Husband. She went straight to husband. No boyfriend in between.
So we like to begin with, discussing, before we get to your books, we want to know a little bit about you. So why don't you tell us first and foremost, who is Jenny Allen? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am a ADHD person that probably needs to be put in a padded cell, but also an RN. I'm a nurse full time still. And when I'm not doing nurse stuff or home stuff, I have a husband and 2 boys. I'm writing or drawing pretty much constantly, and it drives my husband a little bit insane, but it's okay. Because he's a musician, he kind of gets it. So,
Yeah. Well, we all hyperfixate on what it is, that we have passion for when we can. So that's kind of cool that you guys have, passions that you can both pursue.
And yes, on the ebooks, it is international. I can gift international for the ebooks.
Awesome. So Richard, that puts you back in the running, man. Drop that fire in there because I know you didn't drop it earlier. So did you know that you wanted to be an author for your entire life, or when did you figure that out?
No. I always thought I was going to be an artist. And originally when I went to college, it was for medical illustration. But then I got pregnant and I needed something more steady. So nursing it became. I started writing after high school. Well, my sophomore year of high school. I had a very, very close friend of mine that took his own life, and it messed me up pretty bad. So I started writing as an outlet to kind of get through that. It wasn't until many years later when I moved to Tennessee, was waiting to start college, had no job, no friends, lived in the middle of nowhere, Madisonville. And I was like, I've always had this kind of idea in my head. I'm just going to write it. So I started writing it, and that became Bloodlily. And my college roommate read it, and she's like, you need to finish this story, like, now. Like, I need to know what happens. And then it just became an obsession, mostly for my mental health, actually.
Sorry, I'm just getting all the fire in here.
Yeah, it's funny how much writing can help us process, isn't it? Because when we've talked to several authors on here now, quite a few of them, and a lot of us have all said, like, this is how I process my trauma, this is how I heal, this is how I help other people heal. And everybody comes into it for a different reason. But that's a pretty common theme across writers, just across the board.
It's helped dramatically. Like, I'm still, a little nuts, but
Yeah.
Who isn't?
I had night terrors for like 15 years. Like, every night I would have a night terror or nightmare, and like they were always horrific. But when I started writing Bloodlily and I got to the part where I started writing Lilith's night terrors, I stopped having them, and I haven't had one since.
Night terrors are rough too. They're not like regular nightmares.
No.
I'm actually going to be writing
try
a
to
book.
portray that very accurately in the books and stuff too, because a lot of times, sometimes they're even lucid, which is even more terrifying when you know what's happening and you still can't do anything about it. So that's a pretty common theme. And then there's times when, like, the dreamer Lilith, like, she's not sure if it's real or an actual nightmare. Like, it feels too real.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it doesn't just stop with her. She's not the only one that has them. Poor Cohen.
Yeah. So now, when did you actually start writing, or when did you know you wanted to do this?
In high school, it was mostly poetry to start with. When I was in my early 20s, I played like a live action vampire game, and the story kind of stuck with me. And at one point, I actually wrote like a handwritten version that's like 436 handwritten pages in a binder that I still have. And it was called Lilith in London, and it had some of the same things to it. Like, the main character's name was Lilith, her love interest was Chance, her dad's name was Gregor. But it was vastly different from what became Bloodlily eventually. So,
Yeah. Question, was the game Blood Rain?
no, it was Vampire the Masquerade.
Nice. No, I was obsessed with Blood Rain when I was younger. That's why I asked. That was so much fun. The vampire games are amazing.
I tried to explain it to people. It's like acting or like theater, but without the audience. It was fun.
Mm-hmm. Very, very fun.
Mm.
Now, you said you spend your time either writing or drawing. Would you consider drawing a hobby or something that you want to turn into maybe like a full-time thing, or?
Drawing is mostly just for me. because I'm greedy. I mean, I do character art for Jen Saviano because I love her series dearly. Her characters are just as important to me as my characters are.
They're amazing.
So I love drawing her character art. It's so much fun. I get to do Viking next. I'm excited.
Nice.
But I've been asked many, many times to do commissions, and I always hesitate because I don't like being told what to draw.
Same. I used to draw a lot more, and then when I was diagnosed with MS, my ability to use my hands started to decrease over time, and so I can't draw quite as much as I used to anymore. But drawing is an amazing outlet as well, just like writing. And do you have other hobbies as well other than drawing?
Oh my God, constantly.
That's the ADD, right?
Wood burning, turning like Christmas village houses into haunted houses. I've made antique vampire hunting kits, antique witch kits. I used to sing once upon a time. I don't really do that much anymore. Yeah, I always like to try new things. So if it's artistic in any way, I will try it. I've even took ballroom dancing and belly dancing before.
That
So
sounds so fun.
yeah,
Yeah, like Jen Saviano says, multi-talented.
Yeah. If you need somebody to hang out with, Jenny Allen is the one.
Yeah.
usually not that boring.
Which is good because all I do is write and help other people write. So I need not boring friends. Now, do your characters have any of the same interests as you?
I've mentioned in a couple places that Lilith draws, but it's never been like a focus in any of the stories or anything. And she pretty much says she hasn't really drawn much since things started with Blood Lily.
Yeah.
That comes up in book 4. Other than that, not really. I keep them so busy they don't have time for hobbies. I mean, Chance. Now, I did always want to take karate. I never did. I took jujitsu though and Muay Thai kickboxing. But Chance actually teaches karate in a dojo for like underprivileged children in New York City. Like that's one of the things that he does in his off time because he's awesome.
That's really cool.
It's true, they have zero time.
It resonates with real life though, because that's what real life is like. We don't have a lot of time to slow down and do the things we enjoy.
Well,
Yeah, I've learned to make the time for that.
Which is definitely a lesson that takes time to learn too. To be able to
Yes.
breathe. You would think that would come naturally, right? But it doesn't.
it does not.
Now, do you have any particular like causes or that you're passionate about, like any say like a charity or something like to that effect?
I haven't worked with a lot of charities, but I'm pretty big on mental health awareness. I've ran a couple panels at a few different conventions now talking about psychology, especially when it comes to the horror genre. Not just in like how it's helped my mental health, but also like incorporating real aspects of mental health into horror stories for accurate portrayals and really delving into the psychology behind everything, which is fascinating to me. So I love talking about it.
Well, psychology is so important in horror too, in particular, because the genre, a lot of people think horror just needs to be scary, right? It needs to make you uncomfortable. The thing is, though, that horror isn't one thing. It's a lot of things, and it makes you question the status quo and look at things in a different light. And yeah, it can make you uncomfortable or put you on edge, but that's not all horror is. So the psychological component, not just for your characters, but for your readers, is so important.
I've always thought so. Like I dig deep always. Like I never try to, even when I have like little surface things. So for an example, like Luminita, she's a particular race that senses emotion, feeds on emotion, that kind of thing, called the Durand. Well, each member of the Durand has their own little special gift, and some of them are silly, like Cohen. His eye color changes depending on what the viewer wants to see. And that seems just like a little simple, easy thing. But when you think about the fact the only time he knows what color his eyes are when someone's looking at him is if someone sees his true eye color. And the only way they would see his true eye color is if he was the person they wanted to see more than anyone in that moment. And to know that it only happened once in his life is horrifying. Like, so I take those little simple concepts and like really dig down deep and explore all the psychology behind them.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and with that particular gift too, you have to think about the psychology of what it means to disarm someone by your appearance, right? Because we do judge people by the way they look and the way they present themselves, like at first sight. And so for him to be able to change his eye color like that to match what they want or need is also a very important psychological indicator.
yeah, absolutely. And a lot of times people don't want to see what they really want to see, if that makes sense. Like, not everyone wants the truth.
Yeah. Well, the truth can be ugly.
Yeah.
Who wants that?
In Luminita's case, she can actually feel emotions left in a place or on an object, which is cool until you take into account that in one of the novellas, she's trapped in an extremely abusive marriage and can feel all of that on her skin for years.
Yeah.
And you kind of understand why she becomes a villain.
And that would drive anyone mad.
Yeah.
Now, we've talked about kind of what you enjoy writing about. We've talked about some of your hobbies, a little bit about how you got started, but what are some of your favorite things? Like, do you have favorite foods or candies or seasons or shows?
Well, shows Supernatural and Bones, which I always use those as comparisons, but to the book series. But they're very much inspirations, and I adore them. I've always been into crime shows specifically, especially with the scientific side of it. Because I'm a complete nerd too. I might be artistic, but I'm a super uber nerd when it comes to science. Foods I'm learning, since apparently I'm extremely diabetic and had to change my entire life this year. So, Quest protein cookies are pretty awesome.
Yeah, Quest makes good chips too.
They do. I have a lot of their stuff. So that's helped a little bit.
Are you a fall or a summer person?
I'm more of a fall person. I don't like being overly hot. I used to be the person that was hot all the time. And now that I've lost 68 pounds, I'm cold all the time, which is just weird. And Dexter was a great series. I do love Dexter too.
And Criminal Minds too. That one's
Yes.
fun too. Yeah.
And the original OG CSI.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The sunglasses. Yeah, no, the whole being healthier component goes along with taking time to slow down and do things that you enjoy as well. Like, it's something that you have to learn, and that's something that I've been learning this year too, something that I know Brian has been working with and Evie has been working with, because if we don't take control of our lives, then we're not going to have, longevity and be able to take care of family members and such. And that's a scary concept. I know I write about things that happen to children in my horror books because those are things that make me uncomfortable. Do you write about diabetes at all?
I haven't, no.
That would be an interesting concept to tackle, especially with supernatural creatures or vampirism.
Yeah, that would be pretty interesting.
There's history that suggests vampirism came from diabetes presentation. It's kind of neat. Something nerdy to look up.
In my books, it's based on thalassemia, which is a real blood disorder. But I do have a very overweight vampire that could become a factor.
That would be interesting. Yeah, something about the way that the gums will withdraw in severe cases of diabetes and reveal more of the canines and diabetic comatosis that you can have if your sugars are all off and stuff came into folklore about vampirism. It's one of my favorite things too.
So what you're saying is vampires are diabetic, or diabetics are vampires?
Yeah, chicken egg. I don't know.
My mother's been a vampire since she was 10 years old.
When I was pregnant with my son, they asked me, do you want a boy or a girl, right? And I'm a smartass, so my answer was, I want a vampire, right? Because I do. I love vampires. Well, guess what happened? He dropped my iron below 9. I was like, oh, I got a vampire after all.
like 9 out of 100?
I don't. Isn't it like 12 to 15 is what it's supposed to be at, or something like that? And mine was below 9. My lips turned white. I had no iron. It was really bad. They put me on supplements and everything. So just be careful what you wish for, man, because you might get it.
Yeah. So, some of your favorite things, obviously, we're all readers too. So, What would you say is your most recent 5-star book that you read?
Um, Most recent that I just finished that was new to me would have to be Things I Should Have Said, by Kelsey Humphreys. I think that was her name. It was narrated by Paige Reisenfeld and Ryan Lee Dunlap. So I wanted to listen to it because I heard like a little audio clip, and I have never in my life seen myself so much in a character before ever. Yeah, it made me cry. I don't think it was supposed to, but it made me cry.
Relatable
Uh,
characters matter so much.
They really, really do. And yeah, she's an artist and an anxious introvert, ADHD, like anxiety ridden. Yeah. Yep. Right
Could
here.
have named her Jenny.
Could have. Could have. Currently, I'm re-listening for the third time to the Hollows Row series by Trisha Wolfe, which is one of my absolute favorites. Like
I have a book by her in my bedroom. Didn't she write like the Crave series or something like that?
no, that's someone else.
I was gonna say there's her last name was Wolf too.
I think it's similar, but maybe even spelt different.
Maybe.
Trisha Wolfe is Lovely Bad Things is the first book in the Hollows Row series.
Tracy
And
Wolf.
she has a bunch of different books. I've listened to all of them that are on Audible because I'll listen to anything she writes.
I'm gonna have to look her up. Yeah, the other author's name was Tracy Wolf. That's where I got confused. Really close. Anyway. So we are going to give you an opportunity one more time to participate in the rehoming for the lovely novellas that Jenny has available for you. Signed copies in the US and ebooks if you are in elsewhere, right? Other places. Drop a fire emoji down here in the comments and Brian will add you to the spinning wheel of awesomeness. And while he does that, I'm going to continue to play 20 questions with Jenny. So you write in horror, obviously. You said this. There's some like supernatural, or not. Oh my gosh, my brain is out of control. Forensic, supernatural forensic, right? Do you write in any other genres?
Just the supernatural historical fiction in the same world. It's a completely different vibe, which was a lot of fun for me. Because they talk completely different. You can't really use curse words because a lot of them didn't exist at the time, which was very challenging for me because I do enjoy my profanity. My characters do anyways, I don't know.
Shakespearean insults and such, you know?
Plus the research was totally different. So instead of researching like crime scenes and body language and micro expressions and all this other stuff, I was researching history and trying to find out like more about battles and things like that and learning how to write a medieval battle. That was fun.
A lot of different names for weaponry and like battle strategies and all the different positions in the military and types of things. And
Oh
there's
my
a
goodness.
lot.
Especially
Yeah.
within the Ottoman Empire because they were just a beast. And
Yeah. Powerhouse. Yeah, historical fiction is really big in the neighborhood that I live in. Almost every time someone comes up to the table, people are asking for that. And I'm like, what about supernatural historical fiction? So now I'm going to have to recommend Jenny's supernatural historical fiction too, because people are so into that here. And nonfiction. It's funny because every place you go is into something different.
yeah.
Fascinating. Busy. Now, how many books do you currently have? You said you had, was it 4 already out in the main series?
And the two novellas, well, the second novella is coming out this month.
And then you'll have 5 in the main series coming out shortly too, correct?
5's coming out in August. I have 3 more novellas already written. So they'll come out as finances allow. And like I said, I'm writing book 6, which is the last book in the main series, which makes my heart sad because it's the last time I'll write from Lilith and Chance's POVs.
Maybe you'll get a
It's
chance for a short story or something at some point, you know?
I mean, maybe they'll still be around because I'm going to do a spin-off series after that features Tim and Eileen, and Lilith and Chance will still be characters. They'll still be around. I won't be writing from their point of view anymore. So
It's so bittersweet when that happens.
it is. I dedicated the 6th book to them. They're the first dedication is Lilith and Chance. and I bawled my eyes out when I wrote it.
Now, do you have a favorite book amongst the ones that you've published?
Amongst the ones that are out, oh God, it would be. I'm really torn between Ghost Orchid, book 4, which is the first time I opened the POV to everybody. It's like 10 or 11 points of view, and you get inside everyone's head. And I dug really, really deep for that one. It's a lot of me in there. So that one holds a special place in my heart, but also the second novella, Dracul. There's just something really magical about that one for me. Um, Especially when Aaron finds her towards the end and kind of rescues her. Like, it's just amazing moments. So it holds a special place in my heart too.
It's hard to answer that question though, because it's like, hey, pick your favorite child.
I know.
Thanks.
I love all of them.
Yeah, I have a favorite cat, even though I love them both, but don't tell Buffett.
It's okay. I have a favorite character, but you can't tell the other ones.
We're gonna ask you in a minute, so
Yeah.
it's just like the characters need to while you answer.
La, 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 la.
Yeah. So, now, you mentioned that there are little pieces of you in the story, which we all kind of do, maybe subconsciously or otherwise. Now, where do you get the inspiration for your books? Is it from real life, or is it something from your past?
It just kind of flows. I mean, I'll have kind of like a basic concept. I'll kind of outline a little, but a lot of it is just up to my characters. They do what they want. I stopped fighting them a long time ago. Just like, okay, well, I shouldn't plot too far ahead because you guys are going to change it anyway. And like they already have with book 6. Like, I'm only like 9 chapters in, and they've already changed shit completely. So it's
Do
great.
that, and sometimes it's wonderful when they do that, right? Because you're like, oh my gosh, I never would have thought about without your input from my brain, but your input, right? And then sometimes they do it, and you're like, come on.
My work in progress, I have a main character who wasn't supposed to even be a figment of my imagination. It just happened one day. It's like, you know what? Let's have her go to the club instead. Okay, let's have her meet this guy, and then all of a sudden it's like, hi, this is my story too. Like, okay. And as it turns out, it's becoming a better book as a result.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, Detective Andrew Cohen, he was one of the crowd favorites, right? He was just supposed to be like a little Southern detective in book 1 that was kind of in the way for a minute and then just went away. He was never supposed to be a main character, and like the entire series revolves around him,
Huh.
Chance, and Lilith. Like, he's not just a main character, he's like one of the main characters.
Nice.
All right, now who's your favorite and who's your least favorite?
Luminita is my favorite. She absolutely has to be, because she is so amazingly complex. The things that she's gone through that you learn about in the novellas and stuff, makes me love her. But even in the main series, how absolutely ruthless and strong she is just awe-inspiring. Like, and terrifying, honestly, that stuff came from my brain sometimes.
That's how you stay nice. We talk about that a lot. How if you write a good villain, that's how you remain a good person.
This is very true. Wow. Yeah, she does some horrific things.
Good for her.
But yeah, she's just such a strong character, and her whole story starts with, and when the first novella is that she wants to control her own fate. It's the Middle Ages in Romania where women have no rights, and she's bound and determined to have full control of her own future.
Yeah.
That's the way it is. Least favorite character used to be Aaron, actually. When I was writing the main series, especially when he came in book 3, I couldn't stand him. I hated any time he was in a scene. I was just like, oh God. And then I started writing book 5. And yeah, him and Luminita had a scene, and I was like, oh, what is happening? Okay. Uh-huh. So, okay, that's sure.
Makes you understand them maybe a little bit more and dislike them a little bit less.
Then I started writing the novellas, and I absolutely adore him too. So, yeah, he's up there with one of my favorites, and he's the one that won't stop talking to me almost constantly.
That's good.
Very
Man,
annoying.
my character, Corinne from Legacy of Lies, everybody's asking me to write Cursed Souls #3, right? And I'm like, Corinne, hey, tell me your story. And she's like, I'm like, Evie is going to come to Michigan and stand behind my chair and force me to write this book. That's what she told me. And Corinne's just like, la, la, la.
Sometimes they're just not ready.
Yeah. I started writing a journal from her POV, and actually that helped me open up some chapters for her for Legacy of Lies. So do you ever have to do things like that for your characters, where you kind of write outside of the context of the book itself?
I haven't. No.
It can be
I've
really
had to write
fascinating.
letters before, like for the novellas. I've had to write letters back and forth because they didn't have cell phones back then. That's always a challenge. Is like trying to time things and allow time for a letter to be delivered by horseback.
Yeah. I haven't had that mail delivery system in a minute.
Yeah, that's challenging.
Wait, does anybody get to use a falcon? That would be a fun one too.
I should have. No, I haven't. I haven't.
Future books. More fun things to add.
I always wondered how you would get like a like a bird, like it's put like a message in a bottle and stick it and have it like fly off somewhere.
Well, I know they had like carrier pigeons and stuff like that in some places. I didn't really look into it too much. I just used because a lot of it had to do with royalty and stuff, and they would just use official messengers.
One time, I think it was in elementary school, we had a school project. We were gonna put an index card with our name and address on and attach it to a balloon and set it and let it go and see where it landed. Mine ended up like 2 blocks away.
Aw.
The world traveler, Brian Scally. Yeah. They used to do that when we were in school too, not with balloons, but with some other stuff. And then we would put like a message to whoever found it and was like, hey, if you find this, contact us at this elementary school or whatever. And some of them came back like years later, which was fascinating.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So trying to time that would be tricky too.
Right?
Yeah. I guess when we did it, we there was no concept of saving the ozone layer or anything like that.
Yeah.
But now you obviously have your series. Do you prefer series or standalones?
I like series because I want to know all the things. I don't like just the story ending and I don't know what happens afterwards.
Yeah.
I don't know. I get invested in series.
Nice.
Well, because they're real people in your head, You
Yeah.
create entire worlds and entire real human beings that you can't just let go of like that. That's hard.
Yeah. That's why
Do
I
you see
revisit
yourself-
my favorites. Like I've listened to Savior at least 3 times now. Both of
I think
them.
I'm on number 2, too, like 2 or 3 now too. And I introduced Marissa, who's in the comments, to Savior.
Oh
Now
yeah.
it's one of her favorites. I mean, PJ will forever be Dean now.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Can't look at PJ and not think about Dean. So
Yep.
yeah. Do you see yourself ever writing a standalone?
I don't know. I really don't. Like I think the novellas were like a stretch for me, and then they wound up being a series anyways. It was supposed to be 1 novella, and now it's 5 with plans for at least 4 more, I think.
Nice. Oops, but nice.
Desi said she locked him. I think she also licked him. Although I could also see both.
Yeah,
He's definitely claimed Legion multiple times.
I just want Vana. I'm not gonna lie. So that's just never mind. Did I say that out loud? Anyway. Yeah, I'm excited that I get to read Blood Lily soon. I was waiting until the new year to put it on my TBR so I could do a Jenny Allen book. Just super exciting.
I'm excited. I know. Are any of your other books on Audible besides the 2?
Dealings inbound for now. However, I'm in talks with a bunch of people to individually narrate the short stories from Apothecary of Curiosities. So I'm trying to get some new and upcoming narrators to do it so we can trade exposure. They can work on my book and they can get exposure. I'm still going to pay them, but try to highlight their voices, especially now that this app is kind of up in the air. Potentially Katie Mizell from Cheap Smut would be doing one of them. Paige would be doing another just because she's Paige and I love her to death. Nurse Katie, or Lizzie Hurd, I believe is her audiobook name. She did a snippet of Everything Dies when it released, and she's looking into doing the full story for me. And then Kennedy Sutton is going to be narrating one as well. So I'm trying to find some for those. And then I'm in talks with Matt Christensen about doing Wicked Little Rabbit, but it depends on if we could still be friends after, because narrating that is going to be pure torture.
I hear you.
It's the sentence fragments. Like, you have to be able to put so much emotion into them, and I'm like, who am I going to toss to the wolves?
Pretty much. I'm fairly certain Ethan Gray is going to regret voicing Cohen. I did warn him he's going to cry a lot. Just saying, because it's poor Cohen, for real.
Nick, do you have audiobooks on Audible as well?
They're in the works. So the first novella, Sean Crisden is recording as Aaron.
Yes.
His audition was absolutely amazing. He's, I think, almost done recording his part of it. And then Brittany Rice is recording the end of this month for Luminita's part. Blood Lily is also underway with 5 different narrators. It's a multicast.
Love it.
So the main series is going to feature a lot of narrators. Book 2 will bring in Brittany as Luminita. And then book 3 will bring in Sean Crisden as Aaron and Allie Dane as Eileen Hirsch. But I also have Blanca Frappier. She's my main narrator. And she's Lilith. Jack Hill is going to be Chance and Lilith's dad, Gregor, and a bunch of other little tiny parts. Ethan Gray is Cohen, and PJ Freeborn's doing Spencer and Ashcroft in the first book, and he's also going to be voicing Tim, who's going to be around for a very long time. And Paige Reisenfeld is going to be voicing my Siren, who is one of my favorite villains, and also Nikki DeLuca, who's Lilith's partner. So it's a pretty stellar cast. I'm excited.
Nice. Yeah, I still need 2 more narrators to do 2 more short stories, so I got to do some more research before I can commission it. But that lineup right there might be a place where I start digging into people.
I mean,
Plenty of
they're
people
all
to ask you
excellent.
about. That sounds amazing.
Really
That
Oh,
sounds
yeah.
absolutely amazing. I'm really excited for you.
I can't wait. Especially the novella. Like Sean's audition and Brittany's audition, they were both so amazing. So hearing them together, I can't wait for it.
There's absolutely nothing like hearing your characters come to life. Like, because they're in your head, right? You hear them all the time, but to put them into a real world context like that is amazing.
It
I know
really
Brian has a couple of audiobooks too. He's got Being Made. You're doing something with that, aren't you?
Yeah, well, Being Made is narrated by Paige Reisenfeld.
I'm sorry, Eddie, you're doing something with.
Eddie is also on Audible. I found I went through ACX and found a lady named Sophia Tallarico who did a nice job. Although I haven't ruled out possibly. Well, I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens with Eddie. But Core Memories is going to be an audiobook this coming, in a few months. Paige and PJ are going to be Bryce and Aaron, respectively.
awesome.
They have such good chemistry. It's going to be fun.
Yes.
All right, we're going to give you another shot here to get involved in this rehoming tonight for 2 of Jenny Allen's novellas. One of them, which hasn't even been released yet. In the U.S., you can get signed editions. If you are outside of the U.S., including Canada, you can get ebooks. And the special emoji for that tonight is fire. Drop a fire in the comments, and we're going to continue to reward you for sticking around. And I want to remind you one more time to please give some likes, give some follows, share this with other people so we can get as many eyes on Jenny as we can because she is amazing. And Brian's putting all the names on the spinning wheel of awesomeness. And while he's doing that, I'm going to ask you one of the questions that's probably most divisive on Friday Night Writes. How do you handle the author real life balance? Everyone laughs. Poorly.
One answer.
Poorly.
Usually the
Just
answer is,
ask my
what's
husband.
that?
Yeah.
Anytime I have spare time, I am at my computer until I hear my husband do the.
Babe.
Then I know it's time for me to get up and do some kind of chore around the house to appease him, so I can sit back down at the computer.
Yeah, but you have to be able to hear it, right? The hyperfixation has to have diminished enough to at least be able to like hear the audible sigh.
It's very true. I've become pretty sensitive to it, though.
That's good. I'm in an office all by myself. They have to come get me.
So I'm in the dining room, which is the center of the house. So he's either in the living room or the kitchen, which is on either side of me. So it's hard to ignore.
Yeah.
And he's loud.
It's a good thing we love them.
Yeah.
I think the same thing could be said for you, though. Everybody who loves us, right? They got to put up with a lot for an author.
Yeah.
I think that
Pluses
might.
and minuses, like all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I used to hang out downstairs. Actually, it's with my wife. It's usually okay because she goes to bed around 8:30. So lately, I've been going off and doing my own thing around 8 o'clock for a couple hours a night. So it's not too much time away from the missus. But yeah, it's been an adjustment.
Yeah.
It's always fun when the writing bug bites you, though, right when you're supposed to be doing something with someone else, and you're like, hold on. You have to
It's
run
been
away.
real bad for like the last 5 months. So like August, I had the idea for the first novella. And since August 1st, I have written 5 novellas and 20,000 words in book 6.
That's
And
so
the
much.
novellas are not small. Like they barely qualify as novellas. Like I think the shortest one is the first one, and I think it's 138,000 or 38,000 words. Sorry. And then the other ones are close to 50,000.
I was going to say, I think 50,000 is usually my benchmark for like a small novel. That's where I like to land because I have short, attention span, having ADD plus MS plus little kids. And so I figure other people, thank you, also have some similar problems like that. So yeah, I think Dealings in the Dark is about 38,000, so that'd be comparable. But novellas and novels, that line gets really blurred when you get up into the upper 30s there.
It does. It does. 50 is my benchmark. I try to keep it below 50. Otherwise, I can't truly consider it a novella. Oh, thank you.
I know some people who try to write short stories and they end up writing like 80,000 words because it just, doesn't. They just can't turn off the
Yeah.
juices.
I usually shoot for like the main novels about 120 to 130,000. Book 5 that's coming out is 178,000. So it's a bit of a chonker, but you wouldn't know it. Like they all move really fast. It just a lot of stuff happens.
Yeah, it all depends on pacing and how much you can keep the person invested in the characters and what they're doing.
Yeah, I like my beta reader, Marissa. She tore through all of book 5 in a day and a half, and then she was very mad at me.
That's the best, for one thing. But also, it is hilarious and also wonderful and also super frustrating when we can spend literal years of our lives on a book and someone devours it in 4 hours and is like, where's the next one?
Yep.
I don't know, I'm trying to breathe.
I kind of want to know what that feels like because nobody's asked me where's the sequel to being made or where's the sequel to Eddie the Legend.
Tracy's asking you for new books, though.
Yeah, well, she's asking me for new books and in general.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but you're not writing series, really. That's the thing.
Yeah, the series is where you get those people
Yeah.
that are like, "Where's the next one? Let's go."
Yeah, see, like my goal was, I have the book with the basketball player, I have the book with the baseball player, I'm writing the one with the football player. Marissa, thank you. You would read more about Eddie, and I think that might be if I were to do a series, that might be the one to start with. But after I'm done with this one, I have to write something about a hockey player to cover all 4 major sports. And then after that, maybe I'll do like some sort of sports romance series.
I challenge you, gymnastics.
Gym-
Gymnastics. Bendy.
I, I don't know enough about gymnastics. I don't know.
Sure.
What
That's what
research is for.
research is for.
That is what research is for. And you know, I do my research. So yeah, you know,
Oh,
my
boxing, that's a good one.
boxing. Yes, you know, I hope I don't alienate too many people with my Friday Night Rights anthology story. But I mean, it's my character is a professional wrestler. But that's not the point of the story. The point is what he's going through.
Yeah. A lot of the stories that are going to be in the Friday Night Rights anthology, which Jenny is also going to be contributing to, are
Yes.
going to be like shining a light on your soul or holding a magnifying glass up to yourself. And that is a wonderfully painful experience, which kind of leads us into our next question, actually. That one's Brian's.
I don't know. My next question is, do you have any writing routines?
Oh, I had what do you enjoy most and what do you enjoy least as your next question.
Oh, okay. Somebody crossed it out. Well, what do you enjoy the most and what do you enjoy the least?
I think it's pretty universal that all authors enjoy marketing the least.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
would
kind
say
of
so.
standard across the board. It's frustrating and
And it's going to get harder now.
yep.
Great.
Time
Thank
to
you. Please, sir, may I have some more?
Yeah, I'm like great, this is awesome. And have all these awesome books that nobody knows about.
This is so fun. I'm so excited.
Yes.
I actually do enjoy editing. It's just weird, I guess, for some authors. But I think probably my favorite thing about writing is when I start to push boundaries, my own boundaries specifically, and go beyond what I thought I was capable of writing. Um, that happened a lot in book 4, which is probably why it's one of my favorites. And in book 5, like the first time when I wrote chapter 26 of book 5 and sent it to Jen Saviano, I was like, I'm scared. I don't really know what just happened, but I need you to look at this because I'm not sure if it should go in there. And she's like, I swear to God, if you don't put that in there, I will unfriend you. Like,
Oh,
you
that's
better put that
intense.
in there. It's amazing.
That is intense. I love that for you.
Apparently, I can write dark romance scenes. Yay!
Who knew, Jenny? Who knew?
I didn't.
Well, I did.
For sure.
No, pushing the boundaries is absolutely amazing, and especially in the genres of supernatural thriller and horror, there's so much opportunity to do that. And then you learn a lot about yourself along the way. Do you ever go back and reread and you're like, oh my God, I wrote that? Like, whew.
All the time, and
Isn't it
especially when I find like hidden like themes and stuff that correlate to my life
Mm-hmm.
that I never wrote intentionally. They just kind of ended up there, and I'm just like, oh wow, that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like a metaphor for that. That's weird. Sometimes it's on purpose. Like
Yeah.
book 3 has a villain that's my ex-fiance. I used his actual name because I don't care. Sue me.
Good
I
for
don't
you.
have anything. It would also imply that he reads, though, so probably not likely.
Yeah. And then sometimes you go back and you find unintentional foreshadowing, or you're like, oh, I did know this was coming. I just didn't know I knew it yet.
So many times, like there are so many repeating themes throughout the books. Just like even just something someone says that comes up again and again. Like, yeah, it's awesome. I love it.
So, do you have any routines when you're writing? You know, music, no music, coffee, tea, candlelight.
I like quiet. The only exception is certain types of scenes. I need music, but it's like instrumental mood music. When I got to book 4 and I had to write from a villain's perspective, like a real villain's perspective, I listened to the Sleepy Hollow soundtrack to get myself in that headspace because it was challenging. He
Yeah.
did not really want to talk to me. And I didn't really want to listen, so
My villains are the loudest. Iroth was easy. He was like, hi, I'm happy to eviscerate you. I'm so excited to be here. And I was like, dude, where did you come from?
I love him. He's awesome.
He's like Alistair from Has Been Hotel. He's
Yeah.
very much Alistair, or like Demon Dean meets Rowena from Supernatural, where he's got a little bit of the cocky and a whole lot of the like, I'm gonna do whatever I want,
Yeah.
kind of thing. But
Luminita
they
and
are
Aaron
always the
seems to it
loudest.
immediately, but yeah, not Ashcroft.
It's for me, it's like the nice guys that are quieter, and I think it's because in my real life, I'm a people pleaser. So it's hard for me to write about things that I do on the day-to-day basis. I can write about the things I don't get to say, right?
Yeah.
So being a villain, that must mean that you have the opposite reaction then, as far as like what is more comfortable to express and what's not. That's interesting.
I mean, sometimes, like I never had that problem with Luminita and Aaron. As soon as I said, "Hey, you guys can talk now," they're like, "Ha, we're never gonna shut up." So they're great, but honestly, to me, in my heart of hearts, I don't truly consider them villains. Yes, they do some horrific things, and they really don't give a crap about anybody else. But the bond that those two have together is something really special. So that maybe that changes it for me. I don't know. Ashcroft's just a through and through villain, and I didn't know how to write him from his actual head. I mean, writing dialogue and actions and stuff, I can do that. His motivations, things like that, but his thought process, that was challenging to get into.
Yeah, and it's
Um,
hard not to cast them as like the stereotypical hokey villain too.
yeah,
Like I
exactly.
can see that.
I
When you
have to
get the
give them
ones that
some
are
basis.
you get the ones that are more like chaotic neutral, and it's kind of a little bit easier because you can find them. The other ones hide.
Yeah.
Or they
They're,
have to be just like far out in left field bad, and then you just go with it, like blow them up into a character, instead of like trying to temper them. Depends on the route.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cohen's pretty tortured. He likes to talk a lot. Until I do a Chance and Lilith spice scene, and then he won't talk to me for like 3 days. And
Whoops.
Chance is always quiet unless him and Lilith are fighting, and then it's like white noise roaring in my head constantly until I fix it. He's
I
really
like
annoying.
the word. Yeah. Now, tell us a little bit about like your path to publishing. Do you do all indie? Do you have some hybrid or trad?
I started off as indie. I got picked up by a small indie publisher um, several years ago. Um, Unfortunately, it was not a great experience for me. They went under. I never saw a single sales report. They never paid me a dime for any sales. Like, I got my copyright back, and that's it. Lesson learned.
Yeah,
Um,
I had a similar
of wanting-
experience.
yeah, it's. I don't
Caitlin
know why I
Brooke
think
too.
that way.
Yeah. Sometimes we just have to grow through it.
Mhm. And I even knew one of their authors that had been with them for years. Like, so it's not like I didn't do my homework. I did, and then it didn't matter. So there's that. Then I completely rehauled book one and two with like 4 different editing programs and stuff like that. Um, and went to re-release them and got picked up by Fulton Books for the first two. They're still with them for now, but Blood Lily goes out of contract at the end of February, and I'm going to take it indie because I like having control. I don't like not being able to set my own prices or control my release dates.
Yeah.
So everything's going to eventually come to the indie side of things, and everything I release now is indie.
That's pretty exciting. I mean, there's benefits and drawbacks to both sides. If you can get a good publisher, you can get a lot of nice things out of that. If you can get a publisher that's like what you've had or what Caitlin Brooke has had or how Brian ended up in publishing, that's a little bit of a different side of the coin. We get a lot of authors on here asking them about their publishing path, and a lot of them that choose indie say the same thing. They want to have that control over their stories and their covers and their release dates and actually see more of the royalties because they're doing all the work, which is
Yep.
interesting.
And not having to pay out for hybrids either.
Hybrids are tricky too. Very, very tricky. I know some people have trad pub books like in one series with a press, and then the rest of them are indie and whatnot, and they like it that way. But it all depends on preference.
Yeah. I mean, in the beginning it was beneficial because I didn't know how to do a lot of things. But I've learned enough about formatting and creating a really smart interior to look like a traditionally published book. I have a cover artist I've been working with since the very beginning. He does all of my covers for the past 11 years now. he's amazing and wonderful, and I'm going to keep using him. So, I mean, I don't need a lot of the things that they were offering anymore. And that was another thing.
Yeah, and then I've found personally that we do all of the marketing anyway. That's the hardest part. So we're putting it out of the effort and not getting all of the return out of it. That can be tricky.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we all, we talk about our works in progress. Some of us have more than others. Evie has like 40 something. Some authors claim to have like over 100. How many do you have right now?
Officially one. It's just book 6. Although I've already been toying with outlines and stuff for the next novella in the back of my head, but I won't actually start writing it because the main series is written in third person past tense. The novellas are written in first person present tense. And switching back and forth between the two is a nightmare. So I won't go back and forth. But I will do research and I will plot and plan and stuff like that. So
yeah, it's hard for me to work on more than one at a time. It's like if I have to, hey Silverton, if I have to, work on something, then I have to put another one aside, and it's just, I need to fixate Big Mug. Yeah. Speaking of,
Yep.
my ADHD is coming out right now. It's like, no, but yes, prime example, I can't work on more than one at a time.
Yeah. I usually have 2 to 3 going, but mostly just because of deadlines. I will let him know, does he? But no, like I have the Sinful Signings whip going right now. I started that because the thing popped into my head while I was in Florida and I wasn't supposed to write on vacation. And then I have over 1,000 words, so that happened. And then Legacy of Lies, because I think the people who have been here since the beginning are literally going to show up at my home. Like I've had people come to shows asking me. So I'm going to be
Oh
in
my
trouble
goodness.
if I don't. So
the poor people that read the first 2 books had to wait 6 years for book 3.
that's rough. That's rough. How did you do that? How did you get through that 6 years?
Well, I was Bloodlily and Rose of Jericho, the first 2, had been picked up, and like I published them, and they got picked up, and then I had to re-edit and stuff like that. So that's why it took me so long. Like I had started writing book 3 and I got like halfway through it. Wasn't really sure if I liked the way it was going because I had to do this new thing and open up the POVs a little bit, and I wasn't sure about that. Thankfully, I had some amazing test bunnies that read everything pretty much as I write it and gave me all the encouragement I needed to really lean into it. So it worked out well.
Brian does that for me. Marissa in the comments down here does that for me. I torture Edie with beta reads. It's really important to have a team and a community behind you, especially in this career where it can be very isolating.
Yep, Jen Saviano reads every chapter right after I write it. I send it to her immediately.
Little Rabbit, I had to mess with him because he was my test bunny, right? I had him and Silverton in there because
It was no issue whatsoever. I love reading your work.
right,
Yeah.
but I had to put stop signs in it.
Oh, gotcha.
Because I would have a chapter
Yes.
like way in the future that I had started writing and wasn't finished, and I would put, Brian, do not read this.
I save them as individual files, like each chapter, and I have a folder just called Test Bunnies, and then it's broken down in smaller folders for each book. And it's actually helped me because a couple times, like the main document didn't save properly, and I lost a chapter, but I saved it as an individual chapter to send to my Test Bunnies. So just copy and paste.
Yeah. I used to do that with The Ruin. I had individual chapters, and then when I went to publish it, I had to take it from 135 third person past or present tense to 112,000 first person present tense words in 2 months.
Oof.
That was
Yeah,
painful.
that's-
So now I just put them in the same doc.
It's painful. Like when I tried to switch back and forth, because for a while I was trying to edit book 5 and write the novellas, but like for 2 full paragraphs, I'd be writing in the opposite and have to go back and change it all. And I'm like, oh, okay, fine.
I've tried writing with, and we'll talk about writing tools in a minute, but I've had issues with Atticus lately. I switched over to Atticus because I needed to format, but when I copy and paste from Word to Atticus, all the words get bunched up, so I have to kind of go through it and edit it manually. So now I started writing in Atticus, but sometimes when I try to go back into it, the file doesn't upload or doesn't reopen properly unless I like completely log out and log back. It's just annoying. I don't know. I'm just babbling anyway. But it gets so messed up. It's baloney.
It is
I've
frustrating.
never tried it. I'm a word user.
Yeah, that's what I did. Yeah, but I'll just have to suck it up.
I have a Mac. I use Vellum. That's how I format all my stuff. But we do like to ask you, how do you deal with writer's block, and how do you work through all those things, especially if the programs are being fussy and you want to give up, or if like your chapter is missing and you want to give up because you're like, oh, I just spent like 3 days on this one thing. Like, how do you deal with those kinds of setbacks, and with writer's block and with imposter syndrome and all of those things?
Um, I don't think I actually have had an instance of true writer's block. I've had moments where like the mojo of the story is kind of fizzled out and I need to get back in the groove. So I'll go back and edit up to that point, and by that time I'm usually back in the moment. Um, Imposter syndrome though, it's a beast. Um, I think the only reason I've really made it this far in my writing is because of my test bunnies, because they keep me motivated, keep me inspired, keep me wanting to write. So Jen Saviato and Danny Nagel and Caleb Bowers, those are my three main test bunnies. Although Kayla's fallen pretty far behind, but she just had a baby. It's allowed. But they keep me motivated and honest and keep me from just giving up completely.
Yeah, it's all about community. That's actually why we started doing what we do with Friday Night Writes, trying to lift each other up and like realize that we can't do this alone.
Yeah.
It really is an isolating career if you're sitting behind a computer by yourself all the time. And Richard,
it's very
imposter
easy.
syndrome is when you think you can't do something, like you feel like you don't belong, or you're incapable, or you're really, really not good at it. It can be crippling.
It really, really can be. I
But
mean,
imposters don't get imposter syndrome.
this is true.
That's
They don't.
the real, yeah, that's what, the one thing that I know Sam has reminded me multiple times. And it's lodged in my brain now forever and ever. People who are not imposters, people, hold on. Yeah, words are hard for me tonight. I've been very quiet because I'm having a hard time. Just it's not you, it's me.
Oh, Brian, breakup lines.
I know. No. No, it's imposter, people who are not imposters get imposter syndrome. You can't get imposter syndrome if you're not an imposter, basically. It's that double negative thing that always throws me. It's the mug. Yes, the mug is what's throwing me.
I
I
have a
just
sticker that says "Words are hard," said the author, and
Yeah.
it's something I say all the time when I flub my thoughts, especially when I go to sit down with the book and I'm like, I have rewritten this one freaking sentence 35 times, and I went right back to the first way I wrote it.
Yep. So many times. So many times.
And it's not unique to
Getting
any
frustrated.
individual author.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, there was a point when I was writing The Ruin where I literally needed the characters to move from the end of the hall to a hospital room in a hall, right? And I sat there with it for 3 days because I could not find the right transition sentence. And John goes, just say they walk down the hall. And I was like, I can't do that. That's a cop out. And he took my computer and typed, they walked down the hall. And I was like, fine.
I mean, if it's not like an integral part of the story, then
Yeah, but it wasn't
know.
flourishy. Yeah.
Sometimes those transitions are the most challenging
yeah.
because it's just practicality. We don't want to focus on that.
No, and I don't know about you, but I'll get into writing, and because I have ADHD, right, I'll get to about the 3/4 point in a book. And then my brain will be like, I already wrote this. I'm all done now. Do you have any snags like that are pretty common along the process for you, or?
It's usually quite the opposite. Like I'll have a plan for a book, like book 4, and then the halfway point doesn't happen till the very end of the book. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess there's a whole other book after this. Great. Okay, cool. It's like they don't want to shut up, but they always make it better. I can't really complain because they always take things to a deeper level, make things more complex, more heart-rending. The ending of book 5 is, oof, it's brutal, and you need tissues. But my God, the ending of book 5 is worse. So, hang in there.
We sure do love to torture our readers, man.
My beta reader, after she tore through it in 2 days, said, "You did not do what I just read. You did not do that. Tell me you didn't do it. I'm fucking broken." She's like, "I'm broken. I don't even know what to read now."
I'm sorry. But I'm not
I'm
sorry.
sorry I broke you.
But I'm glad you got the reaction I wanted you to have.
Very true. I always cry first. Just saying.
Now, you said you do all your formatting and things in Microsoft Word?
Hmm.
That's a tricky way to format a book. That takes a lot of skill and patience.
Experimentation, and I save templates.
Yeah. Do the trial and
I
error
always
thing.
have it set to the 6x9 to begin with, even before I start writing it. So trial and error templates, things like that. It's helped a lot. So it doesn't take me too terribly long now. It's just when I go to do the ebook and I have to take that and put it into Vellum, then I have to correct everything that's incorrect for an ebook in Vellum. So there's that.
Yeah. That's tricky.
Richard wants to know if you've ever thought about a plot for a story that ended up in the middle of the story.
Like a plot popped into your head halfway through?
Oh, like a story within a story.
Right.
Frame
That's
stories are fascinating.
Kind of like, if anybody has read Core Memories, when we get to the Heather chapter,
Oh, Heather.
yes, that's, I guess, a prime example of a story within a story.
You get a character that'll make you roll your eyes and go, "Oh, Heather," though. That's pretty good.
Yeah, well, then I've accomplished something.
I do have story times. Probably my favorite scene in book 4, as far as a happy, fluffy scene in book 4, is when I have a bunch of my characters sitting around eating dinner and they just start randomly sharing stories from their past and stuff. And some of them are sad because poor Chance did not have a good childhood. Or Cohen, which that was also sad. And then you have Nikki, who's talking about how she seduced her fiance's sister and burned down an entire vineyard in Italy. So, it's
It's
fun.
like a good time. Yeah.
Yeah. Those were not expected. They just kind of happened. And it's all Cohen's fault because he actually decided to share for once ever with other people. So, yeah.
Well, we have to encourage this behavior.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, you spoke earlier about all of your multiple talents and what you do, when you're not writing. Is it safe to say that some of that is to help you recharge your battery and, when you're trying to deal with your mental health, maybe just step away or, how do you deal with that?
Especially since you write about such darker themes, right?
Yeah. Sometimes I just have to go make something pretty afterwards. When there's really sad things coming up in a book or sad things that just happened in the book, and it does kind of wreck me. I couldn't even go back in to edit the end of book 4 for like a week and a half. I just couldn't bring myself to do it, especially the second to last chapter, the van scene, for anyone that's read it. Oof. But then I'll draw character art mostly, and it makes me feel a little better. I'm working on a piece right now that's going to be my absolute favorite. I'm pretty sure it's an Aaron and Luminita piece. It's a sweet piece though. It's very nice.
That's really cool. Yeah, and doing that, I think, probably still allows you to be connected to your stories and your characters, but in a safer environment, right?
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Good. Gives us a different dynamic, a different way to communicate, so to speak. So.
Now, we've talked a lot about the writing. We've talked a little bit about you and who you are as a person, but we also like to ask authors this question. I already know one person that you're going to say, but are there any other authors who have inspired you on this journey of yours?
Oh, well, my bestie, Jen Saviano, always and forever.
Knew it.
Um, also, Desi and Autumn, Avon, they're amazing, amazing people. The four of us are in a group chat every single day. Um, they're awesome. So they definitely keep me inspired. And we share writing little pieces and snippets and stuff here and there too. Um, my other test bunnies too are a huge inspiration. As far as style and stuff too, I read a lot of Kelly Armstrong and Laurel Hamilton when I was younger. Loved Laurel Hamilton's early work in the Anita Blake series. I really, really loved it. Um, and then the Trisha Wolfe stuff that I've been reading recently has also been pretty inspirational too. I love her writing. It's very well researched, especially the Hollows Row series. Delves into a lot of philosophy and stuff like that. So it's fascinating. I love listening to it. So yeah, lots of people's.
You draw inspiration from lots of different places, like people that you interact with, other authors, people who are like super big trad names, people who are smaller indie names. Like that's kind of cool that you have such a wide range there of inspiration, because I think a lot of authors think that they're just one person in this whole world full of people and they're never going to matter and their stories don't matter. And that's really not the truth.
Yeah.
I think we have no idea who we touch with our writing.
Oh my God, some of the best stories I've ever gotten have been from people that like thanked me for inspiring them to read again. Like that just makes my whole heart swell. And I had one lady who was just like, I've always wanted to write, like, but I never thought I could, but I read your book and now I really feel inspired. And she actually started writing and wrote like, I think it was like 20 or 30 pages and sent me the file and asked me to take a look at it and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
that just makes me want to cry.
Yeah.
The best possible compliments ever.
Yeah, I had a conversation with that one earlier this week. And among the one things we talked about was just reminding me of all the people that I've touched with my writing. A lot of people down here in the comments. And that one over there too. So just
It's tough.
don't lose sight of that.
Well, and
You
the
do
whole
sometimes
concept.
lose sight of it. You need people to remind you because it's challenging. Like I've always had a deep belief in my writing that it's good, but having a belief that anyone's going to eventually care is a whole other matter.
Well, and it's the concept too of what is success. That's something that he and I and Evie have been discussing quite a lot lately, because when you're in this world that's so inundated by people on social media, first off, you don't know what's true and what's not, which is a very hard thing to kind of get past when you're trying to place yourself on a spectrum of what you should and should not be doing. But second off, success comes in a lot of different places and in a lot of different forms. And so it's really not all about sales, and it's really not all about the income, although those things are very, very helpful so that we can continue on this journey. Sometimes it's about the reader who tells you, I'm visually impaired, but you let me see your story, right? Or sometimes it's about the reader that says, I've never felt so seen before, and those are the moments I think that personally for me as an author keep me going. I know that people laugh because I'm always like, thank you to the readers, because I'm not an author without you. And people are like,
Yeah.
well, no, we're not a reader without you. But quite honestly, we could not do this without them. We could not continue this journey the way that we do. So,
Yeah, I'm grateful for all of my readers and the authors who read my stories as well.
Absolutely. Like it makes a big difference. I know there's a lot of authors out there that don't read reviews ever. I am not one of those. Like anytime I feel bad, I will go through and read reviews because I've been blessed with a lot of really good ones. So it definitely helps me feel better. Like, okay, I have reasons to keep going. It's
Yeah,
fine.
the challenge for me is trying to decipher what is positive criticism versus criticism that is not constructive. It's for example, somebody wrote that Eddie the Legend should have had triggers at the beginning, and that was something that I overlooked when I first wrote it, and then when I became a part of the community, I realized how important it was. I went back and added those triggers physically added like a sticker on the physical copies with all the triggers on them. And then there are other people who would say, well, I didn't like the way this was written or this, and then, and it's you have to figure out, what's, that's not every book is for everyone. If it's, if it was, it'd be a boring place if everybody loved every book.
Mm-hmm.
Very true. I mean, there's always going to be someone that doesn't like it, and that's fine. I've gotten a 1-star review. Granted, they were a huge Twilight fan, so I kind of get it.
Yeah.
Because I do poke fun of Twilight at least 4 or 5 times in the first 2 or 3 books.
I mean, your
But
vampires
not
don't
just
sparkle?
limited to Twilight. I poke fun at all pop culture vampires. In fact, the very first thing I poke fun of on page 1 of Blood Lily is Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie.
I'm just kidding.
It's
I love Buffy.
lovingly made fun of. It's lovingly made fun of because I do love them. But these are my characters' thoughts, not mine. I'm not dissing that stuff. It's just their perspective.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about modern day vampires that are nothing like Hollywood. So, of course, they're going to poke fun of how Hollywood sees them.
They don't all sparkle.
Trigger warnings is a whole nother ball game. Like the first 2 books, the printed versions, you will not find trigger warnings in them. Because when I came up through the horror genre, and they don't use trigger warnings because it's horror. You should know better. That's just the way that a lot of them think. It wasn't until I joined this app and started hanging out with people that were outside of that genre that I realized how important those things were.
Right.
The start of book 4 not only has trigger warnings, but it has mental health resources and phone numbers listed, because book 4 delves into a lot of really dark emotional territory, dealing with dark subjects like, self-unaliving and substance abuse and intrusive voices and all kinds of stuff. So it was important. So from now on, they will always be in there. But when I re-release book 1 and 2, they will have trigger warnings.
Mm-hmm. And that goes to show that we can, in fact, learn a lot from reviews, the people that we interact with, and the people that, are the backbone of our journey here. Because I do the same thing. I have trigger warnings, and I have resources for sensitive issues and things that I've used to research the topics that I discuss in my books in the back as well. Because this app has taught me a lot about informed consent in a reader setting, and that safety really is more important than people consuming the books that we write. It's a part of being a responsible individual in the community. Granted, not everybody has to do them. That's a choice that they make. But I think it shows a lot of care for the people who pick up your books. I like that you do that.
Yeah. I'm kind of disappointed in myself that I didn't think to do that in the first 2. But like I said, it just wasn't part of the culture that I was in. It just didn't occur to me.
Yeah.
It still doesn't do that all the time.
That's same with me. It just didn't occur to me when I wrote my first 2 books. Before I became more of a presence on social media. So I retroactively added them to the book.
Mm-hmm.
I did also have to put extra disclaimers in the novellas because I had to make sure people knew that this is not 100% accurate to true history.
Right.
Because there's a lot of historical research in there, but the last thing I wanted to do was offend somebody by making people think this is really what happened. I mean, it is fiction. Just saying.
Historical liberties.
I said this is not how things happened as far as we know.
Right.
So, other than trigger warnings and whatnot, what advice would you give for unpublished authors or writers who hope to become authors?
First of all, stay true to the story you want to tell. Like, I know there's lots of authors out there that write for an audience, and I do understand that, but I think it really shows when an author writes with their whole heart and writes the story they really truly believe in and want to tell. I can tell the difference, and those are the stories I like to read.
Yeah.
That's probably my biggest thing, and just find people around you that will support you and help keep you motivated.
That is a good piece of advice. Actually, that one that she gave to me not too long ago. Just write the story. You have to believe in the story. Don't just write it because you think other people will want to see it. If it's they will know if you put your whole heart and soul into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's something special about a Brian Scala story, and there's something special about a Jenny Allen story and a Samantha Moran story, and they don't need to all be the same. How boring would that be?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're not cookie cutter people.
That's right.
No. And I've had fans like try to make demands and stuff and push me one way or another, and it's just like, yeah, no, that's not where the story went. Sorry, it's
Thanks,
just
though.
no, not like I can't count how many people are actually rooting for a Cohen and Lilith romance. It's just never, ever, ever gonna happen. I'm sorry, guys, never. It's Chance and Lilith forever.
Now that's when you go. I'm so glad that you are so invested in these stories. However,
However,
sorry.
I
Yeah.
have one fan in particular that wanted me to have Cohen switch sides and find a nice guy to settle down with, and I was just like, I just don't see that happening for him. I just don't. No, he's pretty obsessed with Lilith. I just, yeah.
See, that's where fan
Sorry.
fiction comes in. You know, write some stuff and show me what you write. I'd love to read it. You know, just don't sell it because it's fan fiction. But like, we have a character in Wicked Little Rabbit. His name's Braxton. You're not supposed to like Braxton. You're supposed to hate Braxton. So there's now an I Hate Braxton fan club spearheaded by Lainey, who was in the comments here earlier. And Lainey made the joke
Nice.
that Braxton needed some ginger where the sun doesn't shine, and she was going to take care of that for him. So now there's, ginger on the stickers and stuff. But she keeps threatening to write fan fiction where Braxton gets his just desserts, and I'm like, let's go, give it to me.
Yep.
I thought maybe he needed some other kind of ginger, but that's neither here nor there.
Hey, I've got a ginger. They're great. I'm just telling you. Just saying.
Well,
Brian.
no, you're good. No, it's all good. We do have two brand new novellas to rehome. One of them is coming out on January 25th, and we have the ebooks as well. So if you want to get in on the action, give me some fire. Drop the fire emoji down in the comments.
Yeah, signed books, US only, ebooks for international readers. Go ahead and drop that down there. Even if you already have, we are rewarding you for still being here because we love it when you stick around to hear Jenny's words. Even
And
if
by
that-
the way, Avon, if you win, we're gonna spin it again.
All right, since Evie is not here, we are moving into the fun rapid fire questions part of tonight's interview, and I have to ask hers for her because she asks it every time. What is your favorite dinosaur?
My favorite dinosaur, Triceratops. I don't even know why.
The pokey
It's just-
one.
Yeah.
I will let her know. I've got the message pulled up here. She says Triceratops. It's very important to her. There is a correct answer to this, I think. All right. Since Brian's still doing the spinning wheel of awesomeness, I will do one more question because he's got his fingers busy over there. But do you believe in aliens? Feels like a good follow-up to the dinosaur question.
Yes, I think it's completely vain of us to think we're the only intelligent life in the entire universe. Although I also think it's pretty vain to think that anyone else would care about us. So,
Yeah. Yeah. We're kind of like the pond scum on the planet in the distance, whatever. We've talked frequently too about what constitutes as an alien. Are we looking at microbes? Are we looking at like sentient beings, like humanoid beings? There's a lot of wiggle room in that definition.
there
I think
is.
It's interesting. Aliens probably run away from us. If they're smart, they do, Katie.
Well, it depends. If well. Oh no, never mind. I was thinking of something else.
I run away from us too. It's okay. We did a horror book club at Words on Pages over the weekend, and they asked, what scares you? And I said, people. They were like, what about horror books? I was like, people.
People.
Just people. Full stop.
Yep. Like I watch almost exclusively horror movies. Almost. Like I do go outside of that genre. But I've watched pretty much any horror movie I can get my hands on. Most of them don't scare me.
The only one that really freaks me out is The Strangers, because they ask, why are you doing this? And she says, because you were home. And I'm like, that's totally plausible. Don't play that movie anymore.
Yeah. That and the very first Final Destination messed me up.
We talk
Oh
about
my
that all the time. And every once in a while in the
jumped
shower, I think
boat.
about the ring with the hand thing.
Yep. It's the stuff I can't control. Like,
Yeah.
Jason might come after me. I can fight him off. I might lose, sure, but there's a chance I could fight him off. But like some of these ghost movies and other stuff, like you have zero control, it's just gonna happen. That freaks me out. I
Yeah.
can't do that.
My biggest fear is tornadoes, and one missed me by 2 streets last year, so we're good. I can watch horror movies now. Evie says, by the way, an acceptable answer, but wrong.
Okay.
I think she's a velociraptor person. Pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
What is the best gift you've ever received?
Um, there's been a lot, but this is gonna sound really cheesy. I'm sorry, Jen, I love you. Um, for Christmas, not this past year, but the year before, Jen Saviano sent me a Christmas present. Because she knows that I love lilies, obviously, blood lily.
Ah,
And she got me little crystal lilies that I have sitting on my writing desk. And that was one of my favorite things ever.
That is so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my favorite things came completely unwarranted and by surprise as well. Brian got my little author sign off on a sign for me. It just showed up in the mail one day, and I was like,
yeah.
"Ooh."
Aw.
Big Bird. Yeah, so in our Dawn Writers chat, it's me and Brian and Evie and John, and we all have nicknames. John is Pretty Boy. He's Big Bird. Evie is either Innocent Ears or Tiny Hands, depending on the day, and I'm Chaos Baby, because I don't know how to do anything without chaos. So I sent him a Big
Yeah.
Bird for Christmas.
Yes. It's cute.
We have nicknames in our author group chat too. Um, I I don't pay attention to them anymore. I don't know. I think I was Spookmaster. I don't know.
I can see that.
I love it. It's like your author gamer tag.
Yeah, that and we have cheese names. I do know that. I'm Munster.
That
And
makes
Jen
sense.
Saviano is Havarti.
Somehow
Avon
that
is
also
New
makes
York.
What kind of cheese?
And
Harardi?
Desi is cheddar, big cheddar.
Havarti.
Huh?
Oh,
Havarti.
I've literally never heard of
Havarti.
that.
Yeah. What was Avon again? I
It's
missed that
really
one.
good.
Mhm.
It's one of my favorites.
Turkey and Havarti is delicious.
Which one is Avon?
Avon is New York Sharp.
Oh,
And Desi is big cheddar.
Yeah, I think I'd have to be Swiss cheese because my brain's full of holes from my MS. That's dark humor. Anyway.
I'll be mozzarella, because I'm the Italian.
Oh yeah, that works.
Or
All right.
Mac-
So one of my favorite questions to ask is, what inanimate object would be most annoying if it played loud, upbeat music while you were using it?
Like everything. I'm very sound sensitive. I saw that question on the list. It was just like, yep. I'm very sound sensitive, which is strange for a nurse. Because those alarms will like slice into my brain and completely interrupt my thoughts, and I can't think again until it stops.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's maddening. And God forbid you're behind my right side and chewing chips. We will fight. Like,
Mm.
I used to work at McDonald's and
One of
the
those-
fire. Mhm.
Yep, it's awful.
Oh yeah.
What is the craziest thing you've ever done in the name of love?
I'm a hopeless romantic, so a lot. Probably buy a $1,500 plane ticket and fly to Scotland for 2 weeks. Came home with a great souvenir. He just turned 10. Well, he'll be 11 in April.
Wow, nice.
Oh,
I love it.
nice.
All right. What would you use to survive the zombie apocalypse?
Ooh, I am perfectly poised for this question.
Yes, I know we have to ask.
Where I live is like half a mile down the road is the National Guard Reserve, which is a weaponry.
Nice.
And then half a mile down the road the other direction is where they build tanks.
Mm.
Don't come after Jenny. She's set. She's got a
Okay.
plan and everything.
That's right. And I have a crossbow in my closet, and I know how to use
Nice.
Ah.
I've never
Yes,
used
yes.
one of those. I've used a traditional bow, but not a crossbow.
Safe to say you would survive the purge.
it. Probably.
Oh, the
I-
purge.
the one advantage of having like 5 million hobbies and interests and always wanting to learn new things is, I'm a really good shot. I've tried with a bunch of different things. So, yay.
Hmm. What's your favorite ice cream flavor?
I can't
Aw.
have ice cream anymore.
Oh no.
But it used to be anything with chocolate and peanut butter.
Yeah, I always go for moose tracks myself. Now, there's no ice
Oh.
cream you can have at all.
Um, there's some keto stuff that's kind of ice cream like. Uh, I've pretty much just ratio yogurt has been my thing instead for a nice little sweet treat.
Yeah. Changing the way we eat, man. I know we've been doing it since just before Sinful Signings around here. I think I'm down about 30 pounds, which is pretty good for 4-ish months. But like we had holidays and we started eating like we used to over the holidays, and now we have to eat like grown-ups again. And I'm like,
Mm.
I know.
Yeah,
And my husband was doing the whole keto diet with me for a while. He put in a good solid like month and a half. And then he's like, I can't do this. And I'm like, I know. It's okay. I keep telling you, you don't have to. I'm diabetic. I have to. You are not diabetic. I even tested your blood sugar. You're fine.
it's all about balancing the proteins and fibers, really. That makes you feel full, you know?
I sent them a photo or a short video earlier this week. I went to get my haircut and I somehow ended up at Five Guys next door.
Yeah, his legs didn't work right. And I was like, awesome. I'm eating home food. Thanks.
I did splurge like a couple of weeks ago and I got myself a burger for like that was the first hamburger bun I'd had in like 7 months,
Wow.
maybe.
Yeah.
And it tasted glorious. My stomach did not like it though, at all.
We
Whoa.
eat keto hamburger buns. They make those. They're wonderful. The only problem is they're soft, so we toast them.
They are, and I haven't found like really good alternatives because they still have a decent amount of carbs, and at the time, at least, before they changed me to my shot, like my blood sugars were still high in the mornings, like 250s, without eating. So I
Yeah.
really couldn't have carbs hardly at all, like no carbs.
Rough.
But now with the shot, my blood sugar's a lot better maintained, so I can splurge little tiny bits here and there. This Sunday is the big Eagles game. My husband's making Philly cheesesteaks, and I got some keto-friendly hoagie rolls, so I can actually have one. I'm excited.
Nice. Very exciting. I'm excited for you. That's yay.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking about Philly cheesesteaks. We used to live in Maryland.
Oh.
There was this little shop next to where we lived, and they had the best cheesesteaks. So now I'm going to have to look into making them at home. That sounds so good.
My husband makes some pretty good ones.
So good.
I don't lie.
All right. Now, you strike me as a rather daring person, Jenny. So, what is the most daring thing you've ever done that you can tell us about on TikTok without ending up behind bars somewhere?
Oh my goodness. I'm a fearless traveler. I've been pretty much everywhere, but then I was raised as a military brat, so that's not that uncommon for them, I guess. I mean, I used to run the Rowan Grove Cherry Ferry game. I was the official cherry fairy. So we made, cherries that were steeped in liqueur.
Nice.
And then we would draw names out of a basket, and then the person would have to eat a cherry off of somebody without using their hands. It got really creative. I usually just doled them out, although during that game is the only time I've actually kissed a girl.
So, did a Katy Perry song come into play? It tastes like cherry chapstick.
Not really. Just a thing that happened briefly. It was more disturbing when my boyfriend at the time kissed a dude and liked it. That was more disturbing.
Hmm.
Revelations all around.
Yeah, that relationship did
I
not
had an
last.
experience in college, like let's just say I realized, with all due respect, I realized once and for all that I did not like men.
I like everybody. I don't care.
Anything
Have fun.
goes.
I find beauty in everybody, but
Yes.
attraction wise is different for me.
I mean, yeah, listen, I mean, there are a few men out there that I would be like, okay.
Mm.
And my husband raves about JT Real Muto. He's like, he's a damn
Oh, yeah.
fine looking man.
Like 90% of the men
Weird.
I know are into Ryan Reynolds, like
Hmm.
fine. No, I used to tell people in high school I'm 75% straight and 25% curved. I don't have a real path. I just go wherever I want to go.
I think it was Michael Stipe when he went through his crush with eyeliner phase that made me think,
Guy liner is delicious.
yes, I did that in college.
I mean, OG Selma Hayek is what made me kind of question myself for a hot minute.
Yeah.
It would be for
Desperado.
me
It's very confusing.
Willow from Buffy, Xena, right?
Oh yeah.
The original Witchblade actress. She's pretty good. And cartoon characters like Kim Possible. I know, I'm weird. Anyway. Have you ever had a secret admirer?
Not really.
Maybe they're still
I had
secret.
stalker once. That's not quite the same though.
Ooh, extra admiree. Oh man.
And yes, Jen, I agree with you on that one too.
I too agree.
For, just like putting the expectation out there, we don't allow people to stalk our authors, so don't do it. Okay, thanks.
Actually, I've had 2 stalkers. I forgot about the second one. That
Oh,
one was
God.
weird.
Okay.
The first one was just high school, and he just was around all the time and wore Eagles gear every single day. So, that's the only team in the NFL that I couldn't stand until I met my husband, and now I'm a massive Eagles fan. So there's that.
The irony.
But the one in college was really creepy because he would not only follow me around the campus and stuff, he was always carrying really weird books about bondage and torture and other stuff that you can't talk about. It's like, this is really creepy. You need to go away from me now.
Sounds like the beginning of a Criminal Minds episode.
I had a not a stalker, but a clinger of a girlfriend, and when I tried to break up with her, it was, among other things, she texted me, "Why do we have to break up? I just bought a new toaster. We can make English muffins."
Okay.
I had a kid in
Some
8th grade who
sound
proposed.
I mean, I did break it off with one guy I was with for 4 years. The same guy that kissed another dude, by the way. And we lived in Florida. I moved with my sister in York, Pennsylvania, where I live now. He followed me up and moved in with my dad in Maryland, and then came to all of our family gatherings and stuff. I don't know what part of moving across the country you didn't get, but
Right. But bye, Felicia. Go away.
I know. Give me flowers at work and stuff. I'm just like, okay, trash room in the break room. Cool.
Some people can't read the room, so there's that.
Nope.
All right, I'll give Brian the last of the fun questions tonight.
Yes. So, stalkers aside, as a child, what did you think would be awesome about being an adult, but is not really awesome?
Getting to go wherever I want to go, except now I don't want to go anywhere.
Ah. That sounds like, hey, I could stay up as late as I want. It's 11 o'clock.
I want to nap.
For
The
me,
things
it
I
was
couldn't
having
stand
a
as a
car.
kid is what my life goals are now. Like naps and getting to bed early.
Yeah.
Having a car, too, with all the bills and responsibilities that come with owning a car, man. Like, we were all like, I want to drive, I want to own a car, and now I'm like, I wish I could just walk everywhere.
Do I really have to leave my house for literally anything today? No.
I get my groceries delivered. I'm not leaving.
It's a bird, yes. Choosing dinner every night. Yes, that is basically it's I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't. It's if I don't choose, if I don't tell my wife we're having tacos or we're having, we're having stuffed chicken tonight. It's like we get home, what do you want for dinner? I don't know, what do you want?
I don't know what you want to do. I don't
Exactly.
know what you want to do.
And that's when we end up.
again.
And that's when we end up spending $60 on McDonald's for DoorDash. You know, it's just like no.
It's getting so expensive too to order
Exactly.
food these days. Whew.
Yeah.
Yes, I
It's
know.
still cheaper than produce in my area sometimes, which is sad.
Yeah, owning
Anyway.
a house is not
Yes.
awesome either sometimes.
Yeah. We are going to give you another chance to participate in the rehoming. Jenny is giving away 2 novellas, one of which has not even come out yet, and one of which is a recent release. Signed copies in the United States, ebooks if you are an international reader. Drop fire in the comments if you want to be entered. Even if you have already done it, you get bonus entries for sticking around and listening to Jenny's amazing stuff. So drop them in there, and Brian will add them to the spinning wheel of awesomeness. And I'm going to take us into the before we sign off portion of Friday Night Writes tonight, so we can kind of get a few last minute things here from Jenny. But do you have any planned events in 2025?
I have one every month except February and December, which is crazy. So I'm kicking it off this month, January 25th, which is when this novella releases, with Dark Drafts in Mount Joy, Pennsylvania. It's a Books of Horror event, which is really cool. They're a group on the Book of Faces. If you don't know about them, they're awesome.
Good group.
So yeah, a lot of really cool people in there. Then it's going to be AuthorCon in Williamsburg, Virginia in March. I'm at Lust in the City, SAS, Sinful Signings, Fright Reads, Halfway to Halloween. A lot of
Jenny
stuff
gets
this year.
into all the horror events. I'm super not jealous at all, but you know.
I'm not doing Creature Feature Weekend this year, but because I usually do that one in Gettysburg, but it's the same weekend as AuthorCon, which is super hard to get a table at, so
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
doing that one first.
They filled up in like 5 minutes. AuthorCon, they were gone.
3 minutes this year. 3.
I know, I was on the website. I didn't make the cut. I was like, come on. It's all right. I'll get in there
I'm
one of
already
these.
sharing my table with Jen Saviano, or I would totally offer to share.
Oh, it's fine. I have another event that weekend, so it's fine. But yeah, it's hard to get into the horror ones. They're either very hard to get into or they fill up super fast. So I'm super excited for you to have so many horror events in 25. A little envious, but
Yeah.
that's okay. It's a good envy.
Fright Reads is a really good one, and they're always looking for vendors. They just opened up vendor applications, just saying.
Yeah, some of them are really far away. A lot of the horror stuff is on the East Coast.
Mhm.
I've noticed
Yeah,
that.
it's in Maryland.
Mm-hmm. I
We
used to
are-
live in Maryland. It's wonderful.
Katie asked via SA Bird, how many days until Sinful Signings? 190.
Yay.
Yay.
Brian's got a countdown going still.
And we need that hotel block, by the way.
Yes, we do. Anyway, do you have a list of events online that someone can look at so that they can reference? Because you have so many.
Yes, on my website, JennyEllenBooks.com. There's lots of really cool things on the website, so definitely check it out. But there's also a page that has events and signings. It has all the information for each one, including the Dark Romance Tea Party in Virginia. It actually has the link for tickets. It's a very small, exclusive event, not a vending event. You just get to hang out with 4 authors, me and Jen Saviano, and I can't remember the 4th one, but the other one is Trisha Wolfe, who's like one of my favorites. So like I'm trying to not to fangirl too much about it, but I'm totally like losing my shit.
So we need a video of you meeting Trisha Wolfe, just like we saw Evie meet Rebecca F. Kenny at Open Payoff, because that was a whole thing. And then I accidentally met Cheryl and Kenyon, and that was a whole thing. So we need a video. We need to have that for Friday Night Writes. So somebody film Jenny
Yes.
meeting her hero.
I'll get Jen on it. Jen will film me, and she'll also keep me from being too terribly weird.
No,
So-
don't do that. Weird is good. Normal is boring.
But on the website, I have all the character art on there. I have soundtracks for each of the books in the main series that tell you the page and paragraph number to start each song, so
Nice.
it's timed out to the scene. All the information on the audiobook projects. We have little samplers on there, news and updates. Like there's tons of stuff up there.
That's awesome. I want to grow up to be Jenny Allen. That's awesome.
We're not supposed to compare ourselves to other people.
I know. How about
It's very
I aspire to
obsessive.
learn from Jenny Allen? How's that?
Okay. I aspire to learn from you, which I always do.
So we have your website. That's where we can find you for all your events and stuff. Where else can we find you online? Because obviously this app is kind of like, maybe.
If you look for Jenny Allen books, pretty much anywhere I'm there. On most of the major platforms. There's a few I haven't done yet, but those are like the newer things that I haven't gotten around to.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
camera one, the Book of Faces, and Threads. I don't know how else to say that.
The sewing place is usually what I say. It doesn't matter. I don't think it matters anymore, to be honest with you. So
No.
So before we do the giveaway, is there anything else you'd like us to know?
I don't know. I'm just really obsessed with my books and my characters. Just saying. I'm going to be in this world for a long time. I don't know if I'll ever write anything out of it. My editor would be really pissed if I don't, though, because she's chomping at the bit for me to write something outside of my world so she can publish it, because she has her own publishing house now.
nice.
And she's like, I really want to. And I'm like, I'm going to be here a while. I'm sorry. But you can
Buckle
still
up,
edit on
Buttercup. All right, you guys. This is where we're going to choose our winner for the rehoming of Jenny's duo. Thank you. That's the word that wouldn't come out. Novellas. One brand new, one coming out at the end of this month that isn't even released yet. Signed copies, US ebooks. If you are international, look at all those names. That's amazing.
That's right. Big Bird's going to help me spin the wheel tonight.
All right, Big Bird, let's go.
All right, so we've got 4 winners coming up, right?
2 winners.
You winners.
One
Oh.
for physical prints and one for the ebook.
Oh, okay, got it. One and one. All right, here we go. Big winner number 1. Looks like we got Marissa.
Hey, that's one of my test bunnies.
She's good
I
people.
love it. Yes, and she always reviews, so that's good.
Yes. All right. Congratulations. And number 2.
Spin
Wait a
again.
minute. do you want me to redo that, or does she get both?
Spin again.
All right.
Spread the love. Marissa's extra lucky tonight. That's cool.
There we go.
Oh, it was so close too. Congratulations.
Nice. Congratulations.
All right, you guys, if you have won, you definitely need to make sure that you're following Jenny so you can send her a message so she can hook you up. If you are not following Jenny, though, and you're just in the audience, you're making a huge mistake. So make sure that you are, okay? Because Jenny is amazing. And I'm not just talking about on here. Go to the other places. This place is going away. It is disintegrating. I'm sorry. I'm calling it at this point. Okay? So go to the other places and do all of the things. Okay? We do want to take a minute just to thank you for being here on Friday Night Rights. We're sorry Evie couldn't be here, but the universe sometimes has other plans. So I would take a shot in the dark guess here that we will be on the Instagram app next week for our next author interview, which will be, I don't know how to say Jeff's last name. Jeff Spar?
Jeff Spar.
He's awesome, but I can't say his name. And we're going to be probably on Instagram with him. So it is very important at this point in time that you also follow Brian, myself, Evie Black, Friday Night Rights accounts, because that is where you will get all of our information, especially our reader group on Facebook. We are doing a lot of things there right now. We're trying to build a whole community. So if you're not there with us, please join us there. We would love to have you. And if you are interested in being on Friday Night Rights, we do have a link in our bio where you can apply or express interest in the show. We are booked through December of 2025.
Awesome.
But we always have, room if someone cancels or something, and we can always book into 2026, so just fill that out. And then Brian, if you want to tell just really quick about the anthology one more time.
Yes. So first of all, this very episode will be available on YouTube as of tomorrow. We're working on if we do go over to the camera or somewhere else, we'll figure out how to get those episodes up on the tube of views. I'm pretty sure we've got that figured out. But As for the anthology, it is called See Me As I Am, and we are focusing on invisible and either physical or mental illnesses, and whatever afflictions that go overlooked or unnoticed. So if we're taking author submissions or interest, if you're interested in contributing, the Friday Night Writes tree with the links in it, all the information's there. You can find that interest form. Authors, if you're interested in submitting a short story for us, that form's open until January 31st. And we are accepting the submissions until March 31st.
Richard, the camera is Instagram. Brian's still trying to talk in code, but I really don't think it matters anymore. So,
Yes.
but yeah, that's going to be coming out about mid-year this year if everything goes according to plan. I'm really excited about it. I know Evie is. I know Brian is, because we're trying to make a difference in this community. And I think with all of us come together, we can make something amazing. So definitely stay in touch with us. And then again, as this uncertainty hangs over everybody's head, just remember that this is a community. That is what we are for. We are here to build each other up and not tear each other down. And it's so easy to feel lost and confused when some of the things that we've built are slipping away. So make sure that we are finding each other in other places. It's very, very important.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and Jenny, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys. It's been a blast.
Thank you.
And we hope to see everybody next week again at 8 p.m. wherever we end up. So
We'll
that's
let you know. We'll send out an APB.
oh geez, do you know how long it took me to figure out that means all points bulletin? I had no idea. I swear I was in my early 20s. And I was in my early 20s before I realized that tisn't wood isn't a real kind of wood. Particle board.
What kind of wood is tisn't wood?
It's particle board because it isn't wood. It's tisn't wood.
Oh.
Yeah, and a sawzall. Yeah,
It
that's
saws all.
It sawzall.
It does not saw all, because I bought one at the Harbor Freight a few years back, and I got through about 75% of this giant bush, and the blade broke, and the machine, all $26 worth, stopped working.
That's a hardy bush if you broke your blade trimming it.
That's what she said.
Yes, it is. She literally said it. All right, you guys, thanks for joining us. I am signing off. It is 10 p.m. here in Michigan, so happy hunting.
Have a good night, everybody. Dawn Ryder.
Bye.